Welcome back to another episode of Time Waits for No One. I am your host, Lonnie Jean Baptiste. On this week's episode, we'll discuss African American inventors. Now, in the spirit of being old fashioned, we'll start with the ladies first. Sarah Breedlove, better known as her later name, Madam C.J. Walker, was born in 1867 on a cotton plantation. Like many in her time, she suffered from balding and hair loss due to poor plumbing of the time period. It was because of this that she invented the world famous Madam C.J. Walker's wonderful hair grower, which allows hair growth without constant maintenance and having to wash it and condition it on a regular basis, because that just was not an option at the time. Many people loved her product and she helped so many people. It was because of this that so many people bought her product that she actually became one of the first, not just African American self-made female millionaires, but one of the first self-made female millionaires at all. This was unheard of for females, let alone an African American woman. This was a great achievement even to this day. She was a great woman, and she gave back so much. She was an amazing philanthropist. She created jobs with her products. She allowed women to sell, the women that actually used her products, she allowed them to sell the products to friends and neighbors, kind of like an Avon lady goes around your neighborhood, or, your mom might know someone, or you're an Avon lady. So it's kind of like that. She was an amazing woman. But for our next inventor, one who most of us are already familiar with, Mr. George Washington Carver. Mr. Carver was born into slavery around 1864. He is the man many believe invented peanut butter, but he actually did not. Peanut butter can actually be dated back to Indians like the Aztec from hundreds of years ago. So, however, he did invent many other things from peanuts. Some would say modern day peanut butter is something that he invented, and I could agree with that. But he did invent many other things like printer ink, soap, peanut oil, shampoo, shaving cream, even glue with peanuts. I mean, that's amazing. But he also not only grew the peanuts, but he was a brilliant farmer. He's taught many ways of how to grow crop, as well as how to bring back rich soil, which cotton had ruined. The next man, known to some as the Black Thomas Edison, Mr. Granville T. Woods, born on 1856 in Columbus, Ohio. Mr. Woods was a brilliant engineer and electrician who invented the ITS, or induction telegraph system, which allowed trains to communicate so that they would not collide. This was an amazing breakthrough. It made travel by train safer for all. So that is an amazing feat. He also invented and designed the third rail on train tracks, which helps propel trains forward and is actually still used today for the most part. He has several patents, he was an amazing man. Now on to our next inventor, someone a little bit more recent. And he has a piece of most of our childhoods. The man I'm talking about is Lonnie G. Johnson. No relation. He was born on 1949 in Alabama. He is a NASA engineer and an Air Force veteran who, believe it or not, invented the Super Soaker. Yes, I know, mind blown, a rocket scientist invented a water gun. He actually invented it on accident, trying to create a new projection or propellant to try and get rockets to go. And he accidentally shot water across his room, and he was like, hey, this would make a cool gun. And there you have it, our childhood for the most part. He also owns over 100 U.S. patents in everything from the water gun to jet propulsion. So, thank you, Lonnie G. Johnson, for an awesome childhood. Now we're coming to the end of today's episode. Time sure flies by when you're learning. And speaking of time, that brings us to our last inventor, Mr. Benjamin Banneker. He was born in 1873 from a free woman and a slave. His mom married one of her slaves and then had a baby, which was him. Mr. Banneker was many things: an author, an astronomer, a farmer, a scientist, and that's just to name a few things. He was the inventor of the first American clock. This clock was made completely out of wood. The clock lasted 40 years until it burned down in a house fire the day he died. Benjamin Banneker also wrote several almanacs. Well, guys, that's all the time we have this week. Tune in next time for Time Waits for No One. I'm your host, Lonnie Jean Baptiste. Good night.